right, welcome everybody to a brand new edition of this cool new thing that we're starting. I don't have a name for it yet, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We just finished an amazing series through the month of September called What's Under the Hood. And so today we are going to take a few moments of your time and kind of look through some things, hit the highlights and also some of the low points because, you know, we're not perfect. We try to hit everything that we can and also discuss the things that we could not get time for. My name is Carson, and with me is, you know her, you love her. She's a pretty cool person. She has her moments. The high school coordinator for Glo Up, Alexis Scallern.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you, Alexis?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm pretty good. It's a good time. This is late Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, like 10 o'clock late.
No, it's not that late. It's not that late. We're not filming that late. 6 o'clock. Sun is still up, but we had a really good time. I really enjoyed this series. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It was kind of an in-between because typically we like to do a full set piece and lots of different props and different skits or things that we do during a show or during a series. And then this was different. This was just parts of it. What were your thoughts of kind of the hybrid mix of this one?
I kind of liked it. It seemed like a lot of the students kind of mostly bought in, especially I think the first week that we did a skit, and then the second week we had just props.
Yeah.
So I think I liked it. The kids seem to buy into it. So I thought it was pretty good.
I liked how it you have these ideas of where you want to create something and you want it to make sense. And I you guys said this in the planning meeting, and I didn't buy into it 100%. So I'll be honest with it. But you guys were right. You guys did say that you thought that guys and girls would be interested in this, even though not. Obviously guys in my world, guys know more about cars than girls do. But there were a lot of girls that had a lot of great questions, and from what I heard over reality checks and everything, it seemed like they were really involved. They were interested in it. So
see, me personally, I like working with my hands. So always the thought of working on cars and everything fascinated me. So if ever my dad was working on something in my car, I always had an interest to go ahead and watch and ask questions. Okay. So it's kind of cool that, hey, us younger generation, does want more hands-on.
Yeah, because you've got you're 22, 23. I'm 40. And that's just the mileage, not the age. So I'll be 29 next week. Mm-hmm. And there's a huge separation. So I grew up, if you didn't fix something in your vehicle or things didn't get fixed, you were on your own. Yeah. Right? But you grew up with, did you have that same experience? Was there an expectation that you fix things? Did people fix them for them? What was your expectations?
It was kind of mixed. If I could do it myself, I'd like to do it myself. Okay. But I also knew that I had my dad to help me out in cases. Tires I can do, but if at one point we had our alternator go out. My alternator go out.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't fix that.
Okay. Well, I had you heard the stories of some of the alternator stuff that we had, and I've had, that's probably the bane of my existence has been the alternator on cars. Yep. It's a necessary function, but it's things you look. But when it comes to basic stuff, we'll hit week one, right? Week one was oil, right? We talked about the value of the oil is that grace that runs through us. Mm-hmm. Did you feel when you were hearing that message, did you recognize that at 18, 17, 16, even in middle school, how important grace was to keep your engine going? Did you really know about that when you were let's say when you were 14, right? 8th grade, freshman year, 7th grade. What was grace like for you at that point in your life?
Honestly, grace wasn't really a big thing to me back then. Okay. My whole thing was just trying to keep moving forward. I wasn't really worried about too much into the religion kind of aspects of things. I had a place to go because here and stuff, and it was nice to get away. But as far as buying into it, I wasn't really buying into it. So.
Okay. And you were you here at South Point in middle school, or was that okay? So you've been here for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Okay. So for you, when did this idea, this concept of God's grace is the only thing that keeps me going, right? Just like the blood in our veins, the muscles in our bodies, the only thing that keeps us going from task to task. When did it click for you that I've got to embrace this thing? I've got to really take it in and go for it all the way that I can.
Honestly, probably not until the end of high school.
Okay. Pre or post graduation?
A mixture, probably more post than pre.
Getting into the real world, getting into whatever there was next.
Got smacked around, and
hard knock life, just kind of come on, get with it, right?
Yeah,
cool, gotcha.
Kind of knocked me back. I'm oh yeah, no, I really can't do this by myself. So that kind of set me more in the mindset of what am I doing? Okay. Where am I trying to focus? And that kind of led me more into God. more so of wanting to buy in. Like I always like had to believe in God and Jesus and everything like that. But as far as like wanting to read my Bible more or wanting to serve more at the church or just being more involved, that didn't really start until after high school.
Okay.
Until I got back.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and that leads into you bought in this grace after high school.
Yep.
But then week 2, we talked about the spark plug. We talked about, right, you can embrace this grace that Jesus provides. And then after that, it really is on you to let him kind of light the fire, right?
Yeah.
Kind of spark everything inside of you, which then gives you the ability to have the patience that goes beyond, anything that we normally have, right? The love that we have. Giving, looking out for the best solution in a situation, right?
Yeah.
So for you, when did that spark happen? Was it in groups here? Was it still in that same time? Did it all click at once? What did that look like for you?
I think it honestly started off small.
Okay.
More towards the beginning of high school.
Okay, so you didn't embrace grace until post high school,
Correct.
but you actually knew that there was more to what you could do at the beginning. Okay, cool. Okay.
I'm a people person. I'm very good with like anybody, like when I talk with anybody, and that's kind of my stick.
Okay.
Even in high school, like we'll take band for example. Yes. I was always that person.
Okay, what was your instrument?
It was a flute.
It was a flute. Okay, so you were a flautist.
I was a flautist.
It was a flautist. I was a bass clarinetist. So we're both losers in our own right, but it's a good time. Band geeks for life. Okay.
Yes.
So in band.
But like I always was a person that would get out of my way and like go talk to people, especially if they seemed awkward or just like weirded out or just like by themselves. I was always a person like go and like hey, and like make friends and stuff like that. So that's kind of like still my thing now. That's what I like dealing with the high schoolers and the middle schoolers now. It's just hey, I'm the weird kid too. We can be friends.
Yeah, you can be awkward in this, and so. For you started recognizing that you had more to offer. There was something more. Like you had this ability, but it was almost like a superpower, right? You didn't know how to exactly tap into it yet. But when you were able to do it, you just noticed, hey, it came easy to me.
Yeah.
It was easier to connect with people. It was easier to be more loving, more friendly when other people would be a little bit more reserved.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Did that make you, in high school, the person that people came to? Were you the person that everybody came to through high school, or did that not happen until later, or is that still kind of a mixture now?
I would say that's probably a mixture. Like, I was young. I was a freshman, so like,
you're
the freshman, the fresh meat.
Yeah, you're the bottom of the food chain.
You're the
period.
bottom.
Yeah.
But like other freshmen would come up to me, and as I got like older in high school, like sophomore or junior year, there was more people, and like a lot of times I'd often find that more people knew me than me knowing them.
Okay.
But yes, they did often like come talk to me, if not for advice or just to kind of get something off their chest.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so we're in week 2, and I got to hit this. So we got a new thing on this that we're going to hit, which is the strike, which is something we saw that just was an absolute killer that killed through this series. And it can be message, it can be reality checks, anything. Some of that was a spare. We thought that made it almost there, right? It got saved at the last minute, and then a Gutterball. Some of that just did not go well. And I got to be honest, I did not think that Gaga Ball, when we rolled that out, went well. I really enjoyed, like, I thought it was a great idea. We had a lot of space, a lot of room. I just feel like in that moment, maybe we overreached a little bit. Maybe we didn't think about time. I think it's about you have to try, right? And that's even one of the quotes from that week. The try was, if one does not fail at times, then one has not challenged himself,
yep.
Right? So there's this idea that maybe, just maybe, you have to fail a little bit to see. But that was definitely the Gutterball for me. I'm sure plenty of people out there will say, like, well, this is part of the message and stuff like that. Like, I'll give you that. That's fine. It's fair. It's fair. But like for me, I feel like we could have had way more fun with that, and it just was a little bit more time consuming than I thought it could have been.
Yes. I don't know. It was also just seemed like an off night kind of too. In my opinion, but definitely with the game, it's kind of I would count that as a Gutterball.
Well, we were there, and then it kind of went away. We just kind of ran out of time. And so keep this moving. We talked in week 3 about the soul generator. So we talked about the alternator. That was last week, and we talked about the power of the alternator and what it can do. Right, it is literally the thing that's the reserve that keeps our heart and everything running when we feel like. And a lot of times we get into low power mode or reserve.
Yep.
Right, we get into seasons of struggles. We get into pain. We go through stuff in our life, and for me at 18, 17, I approached it probably really unhealthy. I was really inclusive. I would try to work out. I would put myself through as much as I could physically to kind of ignore the pain. Right, that was my way of dealing with that. And what I would do is I would drain myself, and where I would go back to the normal wells to refill. Right, I'd go back to the things that normally kept me charged. I just didn't have enough. So for you, is there a point in your life, or are there moments in your life where you've seen yourself go in low power reserve, and you're like, I'm running out of juice here?
Yes.
Okay.
More times than once.
Okay, more times than once. So what's your go-to now? What did you do when you were in high school? When you hit that wall, what was your either healthy or not healthy, out, and then what do you do now to help you? Because it gets worse as you get older. Because more responsibilities, more things. What do you do now?
So in high school, I feel like I had a lot of energy.
Okay.
So because I was like going constantly, if it was not work, it was going to band competitions, going over to a friend's house, walking around the neighborhood. I feel like I had like a lot of energy, and like my dad always told me that I would eventually run out and that I would just spiral.
So you got advice from this throughout the way.
Oh, but I did not listen.
Okay. That's typical. That's typical, not listening. Okay, that's fair. Got it.
Honestly, my probably would just be like the Sundays of just like sleeping in or just not doing anything the whole entire day and sleeping the entire day away. I think that was the one days that I just kind of got that little rejuvenation in high school.
Okay.
Now I just not shut out, but I tell people no. Basically.
Okay, so you've leaned into the fact that no is a complete sentence.
Yes.
Okay, and you've
so
used
much
that.
more now.
So do you find why do you find yourself now setting those boundaries that you couldn't do when you were in high school? What's the difference now for you?
I'm not as much of a people pleaser as I was in high school.
Okay, so going back to that freshman year, you noticed that you love to help and love on people, but that also became the thing that kind of took away some of your power. So as much as that was a spark inside of you that was like, hey, I have a real ability to connect with people, it was also the thing that kind of drains you.
Yeah, people are hard.
People are hard. People are people, right? And we're tough on each other a lot because we require a lot from each other. So I could see that. And so you just use no now and have different experiences to help you with that.
Yeah, like just honestly just telling people no. And like I used to about a couple months ago, I'd like have like a group like almost every day.
Okay.
I'd like crafts on Tuesday, Glo Up on Wednesdays, rehearsal on Thursday, the Point on Fridays, Saturdays.
Shout out to all those here. Sign up for it. Crafts Ministry, The Point, College and Career. Shameless plug. Go ahead. Shameless plug.
And then again, like serving on Sundays every week. Like
that's a lot. I mean,
that was a lot.
You were essentially like on staff, but not on staff.
Basically,
right? You're up here, but not getting paid, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then like that just kind of got like tiring, and I was like, I have like no free time. I have no time to just like reflect and like be me. And so like now I'm like, I don't go to the craft much anymore.
Okay.
Kind of step back, taking that break, just saying no.
Yeah.
Rehearsal is on Wednesdays now, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Friday, do not go to the Point anymore. Still should go to the Point every now and again. If you don't have anything to do, definitely go to the Point. It's great. But yeah, just relaxing more and just being me is great.
Prioritizing me time.
Yes.
Right, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, prioritizing that I have so much time. It's the one commodity we can't get more of. We only have a limited amount per day. And I read this, and I think we think that we don't have enough time. But I think really what it is God has given us so much time. Mm-hmm. And the problem is we get really frustrated because we don't like that we're not supposed to do it all.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're not supposed to do everything. We're supposed to be able to do the limited stuff that God gave us and work with that time. And it's okay if we say no to some things.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. I mean, I think that's awesome. That I still do workouts. I still work out. I still that way to get through the stress. But I have embraced a Sabbath. I have embraced a day where I slow down. I do something that rejuvenates me. And I do it in a way to honor God, right? It's not just another day off. It's not, the day off of the week. You're not on the clock. It's accepting, okay, God, I'm going to rejuvenate myself in you, right? Whether that's worship, whether that's prayer. Sometimes it's in a Bible study. For me, a lot of times it's just going on a run. And it's just moving and going. I know I look like I got the physique of a walrus, but like it's that moment where you're putting something more than just, this is just like another activity, right? It's something more to that.
I started doing that on Saturday. Like not too long ago, one of my roommates, he does Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, D&D, let's go! I like it.
And
I'm a fan.
they all wanted to do on Saturday, and I actually put my foot down and said no because it's the first time I'm not doing anything on Saturday. I do not have to work. and I'm not putting anything on Saturday.
Okay.
So that was a really big step for me personally, because I like D&D. Like, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I also knew that would probably drain me more simply because I do so much else during the week.
Yeah.
So I've Saturday is my day.
Yeah.
It's mine.
It's yours. Yeah, it's yours. And
Fine.
you should own it, and it should be something that you protect, right? The Sabbath should be protected. Jesus said he's the Lord of the harvest, right? That moment we get in the field, we reach people, we love on people, we take that spark that he's given us, and we help others to find the grace in their life, embrace it, and then, of course, to let that soul generator, right, lean on the groups, right?
Yep.
Lean on the community that you need to keep you kind of in between the markers. But there is that beautiful thing about getting me time, about recharging, because he is the Lord of the Sabbath. So he has that. Okay, we're going to take a quick break from the questionnaire before we dive into the last little bit of this. I've got a couple of post questions for you just to see some things. These are some things to think about. They're still within the theme of what's under the hood. So,
Okay.
What is your dream car? What is
My
your dream car?
car?
Yeah, your dream car, right? If you could have any vehicle in the world, what would it be?
I think it's a 19... I'm probably going to get the year wrong.
Okay,
But it's
that's
the
fine.
car in Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, the General Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's I think that's a Challenger.
Isn't it 67?
67, 68, 68. I mean, a lot of car guys may get us wrong. It's fine. In the comments, just drop in the comments. All right, one, we're fine with that. Mine would have to be the DeLorean from 1985.
Okay.
There's something so cool about that car, even though the ones that don't look like the time machine, they were cool spacesuits looking things. Like, they were like spaceships back in the 80s, and they were so cool. Really awesome looking cars. And I just, they had their issues, as all cars do, but I really would want one of those. All right, and then the other one is, if you could represent any brand of cars, right? They gave you merch and you had to wear their logo forever. What would be the car logo that you would want to represent you?
Ooh.
And that's tough because there's a lot of banging. There's a lot of banging logos, right? And there's some other like Chevy, right? I wouldn't want Chevy to. It's like I don't want that whatever that little plus sign gold thing is.
If I had to represent,
Yeah. Like they bring you a check, like we want you to be our face of the brand.
That's hard.
It's a tough one. It's different. It's different because that's a lot of swag, man. We're talking hats, socks, shoes, all of it.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Okay, I'll give you mine because I think mine's a little bit out there, but I think it's such a cool logo. I think it would always bring questions. Always. I think that's Maserati. Not the actual written Maserati, but the symbol for Maserati. I think it's so cool. I would love that. I would love to have that. I think it'd always be like pique your interest. Like, oh, what's that? Right? It makes you ask questions.
Yeah.
And I want that, right? I wouldn't want something as basic as like the Tesla logo, but that T is fire. Right? Just a T right there is beautiful. All right, well, think about that if you come up with it before the end of this. Stop. Let us know what it is.
Isn't there like the Jaguar cars? Is that
No, the Jaguar has a Jaguar on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this fierce, and it's gone through it. It was usually this, and it has the big just Jaguar outline. Looks like a Power Rangers. Like it does look like the Power Rangers, like Morphin.
I would do the Jaguar.
A Jaguar. Okay, I can give that. A lot of electoral issues, but I can see that.
I mean, it's a cool logo. I got to represent.
It is a cool logo. That's all this is about is the logo. Which one?
Not the car.
All right, so last 5 minutes is one of the things we did not get to talk about in this series was a lot of us are built different.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, we're all built different.
Yeah.
Every one of us have something different about ourselves. Woman, man, black, white. We're all different in who we are.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us, we get frustrated because we start to look on social media, we start to look at different things in people's lives, and we start to compare what God's doing in our vehicle, right? Because all of our bodies are temples, right? God says that we're temples, that we are masterpieces of God.
Yep.
And we look at other people that are doing more than we are, they're making a better influence, whatever, and we start to have this comparing mindset. Like, man, if only I was a Porsche, right? Instead of a Chevy or a Ford, right? I would be better, I'd be making more. So for you, is there ever a moment where you felt like you were in this comparing cycle in life? And what was so difficult for you to accept about who you were in those moments?
Ooh.
And it's a loaded one for the end, but it's a good one.
It is a good one. Could I say like my entire life?
You can say, okay, but I give you that. But was there a piece of growing up that you struggle with more than most, right? A different area of life that was tough for you, where you kept finding yourself kind of window shopping.
Middle school.
Middle school. Okay.
Middle school was hard.
Okay. What about middle school so particularly? I mean, obviously the growing pains, your body's changing, you're changing, everything is different. But like, what specifically in middle school was so tough for you?
So middle school, I changed a lot.
Okay, cool.
Like I used to be a really, really like quiet, silent kid.
Okay.
I also went to school in Lafayette, Oxford.
Lafayette.
Lafayette.
Lafayette. Not Lafayette. Lafayette. Yeah.
And coming from there, like, wasn't now around a lot of the kids.
Yeah.
Like, I had my two sisters, and we lived in Como in the middle of the woods, and there was, like, no kid for, like, 2 miles away from us.
Yeah.
So I was very quiet, very shy. I just didn't really talk to anybody. And then I came here, and I'm, like, trying to figure myself out and branch out more because I have, like, kids, like, all around in my neighborhood now.
Yeah.
And, like, just going over that and just trying to talk out more was an issue. Got bullied a lot in middle school.
All right.
And me being the people pleaser I wasn't going to stand up for myself. So that for me was probably the hardest thing, was just the bullying and just trying to figure out, what am I doing and who I am. And yeah, that was the hardest part.
Yeah. For me, middle school was so tough because I was in the same boat in the fact that I just wanted attention. You know, my parents had split when I was in elementary school. It was tough. And I just wanted people to like me. And I didn't care how I got it. And so I started seeing funny people. I started seeing people that were jocks, that were the funny guys, all that stuff. So I was like, I could do that. And I started putting myself in harm's way in a lot of ways because I just wanted the attention. I just wanted to find that love in whatever way it was. And I couldn't get it in this like, hey, I'm actually going to be your friend. So I took it as, I just got to be funny. I'll just be the guy that makes everybody laugh. And it really is to the detriment of who you are because that's not who God made you to be. God designed you for a purpose. He put you here for a reason. And I feel we get lost in that.
Yeah.
Right. We find that. So for you, what was the one thing, what was the one thing for so long that you wanted to change about yourself? What was the one thing if you looked at like if I could go and get an upgrade, right? Okay, with this car thing, if you get one upgrade, what would that upgrade have been for you to change to probably make a better impact? Even now, right? Maybe there's things that are now, maybe not even just high school, middle school. What would that upgrade be?
Like image wise or like what's in the interior?
Inside, it's really anything because when you buy a car, right? You buy a car, you get the base package, which only comes with certain elements, or you can get that touring, right? Which has got certain colors on the outside, the inside, get that leather interior, those heated seats. Right? What is that thing for you that maybe you still struggle with, maybe you don't struggle with anymore, but you're working through, right? What's that thing for you, that upgrade?
Probably speaking up.
Okay.
Because even like through high school and middle school, like if I ever thought a question was stupid,
okay,
even if it wasn't stupid, it could literally be the best question ever. I would ask my sisters to go ask my dad.
Wow, really? So
yes.
That's like even in the home
even in the home thing.
Wow.
Or if I had a question in class, and it was like we were in a group project, I would again like kind of bring it up to the group and like, I don't know, when someone else would raise their hand and ask. Wow. So me speaking up like that has always been an issue.
Yeah. That's big, man. And so how are you still dealing with that now, or is it better? Is it
I would say it's slightly improved, but not there.
Okay.
It's like we're in the process of getting it tuned up.
Oh, you're in the tune, but you're in the shop. You're in the shop getting the stuff working, right?
Hopefully.
And so that's an upgrade. That's actually a good thing, right? But instead, you're no longer using other people to do that for you. You're trusting yourself a little bit, putting yourself out there in situations so you can be a little bit more, kind of not even just assertive, but just a little more confident in that. Hey, this is a good idea. This may not be a good idea. I'm going to put it out there and see.
Yep, and I also think that's coming with maturity as well.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I'm in that same boat as when I wanted a different physique. I was always a big kid, and I've worked through different weight classes all throughout my life. But I was so invested on like looking like Ryan Reynolds. Like growing up, I wanted Ryan Reynolds' body. I just did, and I was so hard on myself for so many years because what I found out is that I had this idea that if I could be funny and I could be handsome, then it would be enough, right? I would make it. So I was just so abusive to who I was. I had this really unhealthy food habit. I had unhealthy thoughts about who I was. And it just became this struggle where I just desired to look like somebody else. Because I was so sure that if I looked like somebody else, I was better.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not, right? And I'm working through that when I've found it putting people around me to remind me and just constantly going back to scripture. right? Going back to the fact that, you are made how God made you. And looking this way now is not what God designed us to be like. It's really about the elements that make us up as people that God put in our lives, right? Those elements that are so important, right? To love others, to be graceful, to be that irrational generosity that is so missing in this world that we need to have for each other. It's just big stuff. Well, we're going to close it out. Do you have any other thoughts, any other spares or strikes? I'll give you my strike real quick. I thought my strike, and I maybe kind of, a little bit toot my own horn here, but I really thought that the value of this series was a strike. I feel like the way it was represented, the way we did everything, with it being not really heavily skit driven, but props only driven, I thought it was really good. I think everybody took something away from it that was pretty good.
Yeah, way to go, toot your own horn.
That's right. Yeah, I'll take it. I feel like it was good. Like I said, I'm gonna be a little biased, but I thought it was good.
I agree. I thought it was a really good series. I wouldn't consider that to be the strike, but I would say it would be like a close second, maybe like a spare or something.
Like a spare, okay.
I would say it would be a spare.
There were some moments where you thought it was headed to the gutter, but we saved it. Okay, cool. There's that honesty. This is the honesty of it, guys. This is the honesty. All right, so what would be your strike then? What's your strike then for this
probably
series?
week 1 just in general.
Okay,
because I thought the message was really good. The reality checks were amazing.
Okay, cool.
Like I only got to sit in with part of the high school, but even then, like everyone was engaged. Everyone was asking questions. Everyone was listening. I don't remember exactly what the game was the first week.
I don't remember either.
But like I don't like the first week was the first night in a long time that we got done, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel great.
Like you felt like inspired.
I felt amazing. Like
really?
That first week, I don't know, we just came back like swinging. And
I like it.
Yeah, that was definitely my strike. We got through the night, and I was like, oh, I feel good.
Like you're ready to do it again.
Yeah.
Let's run it back, try it again. Okay, I like that. All right. Well, you got anything else before we close it out?
No, I think that's it.
That's it? Okay, I got one big follow-up question for you. Just something to do, and this is just something random. I thought it was fun. I just thought it was funny. All right. So, if you were a pizza delivery person, how would you benefit from scissors?
What?
If you were delivering pizzas and you had scissors, how would that benefit you?
I have no idea. I guess it depends on the situation.
All right. So if it's a pan pizza and you've got to cut it up into tinier squares, I was thinking this is the only thing I could think of is that you have to cut it in like even longer squares of it.
Or maybe it gets like stuck in like the what is it called, the bag?
Okay, yeah. You have to cut the bag open. Oh, so the heat from the pizza is so intense.
It melted the
zipper. And you're like, I got to deliver these pizzas because Dwayne Johnson, he needs these pizzas.
He ordered 100 pizzas
he needs
with a tip of $200.
He needed 100. And all he wants is these. That's a lot of cutting for 100 pizzas. I don't know about that. That's a lot.
Okay, like imagine like $200 tip from Dwayne Johnson. So just meeting him.
I just want to deliver pizzas to Dwayne Johnson. So shout out Rock. You're in the Hound. I know you're filming your season like right here at South Point. We would love to see you. We love you, man. Come say hi to us. Cool. All right, well, guys, this has been a whole lot of fun. We love you. This is Alexis. This is Carson. Hope you guys are ready for the next one. We got a brand new series starting this week called Ghosted. It's going to be a lot of fun. See you guys later.
Deuces.